Evening folks, Jurassic Junkie here, and today we're going to have a little discussion as to why I've already sold Destiny. So yeah, I'm going to kind of just tell you my full 2 cents on this game, and before I go into it I want to say this is one man's opinion. This isn't gospel, this isn't fact, this is just why I don't enjoy it and why I don't think it's necessarily going to be a good game. But I'll go into that later, but like I said, just one man's opinion. So first of all then, let's just jump in, and what is Destiny? It's an MMORPG, and within this universe as such there is 5 worlds that you can go around and do missions with friends. Now straight away I find it quite rich because they've said that there is 5 worlds to do missions, and that consists of the Earth, Moon, Venus, Mars and Reef. Well, the thing is, the first 4 planets do have missions on it. The Reef is sat there, but there is nothing there. You go to it and there is 0 missions. All it is a cutscene planet. You will eventually go there, it will play a cutscene and you will leave there. You will do no missions, you'll get no loot, it does nothing at all. Now Destiny have turned around and said that they will be adding content to the Reef, which will consist of things like raids, but they will be coming soon. And a lot of the times in this video I'm going to be saying the word coming soon. So as of the moment, that sits there and does nothing, and then on top of it you have the actual tower where you can go and actually get your items and break them down and do all the such things. So first of all, I just want to say that this game looks gorgeous and it plays amazing, which I wouldn't expect to say. If you think I've sold this game, you think, oh bash it, no. This game has so many good qualities. It plays so nice, and when you can double jump over enemies and shoot down, and oh, it plays great. So you can tell they've spent the time and effort and made this game so polished, and it really is an enjoyable environment. The problem comes when it is just so lacking basic and repetitive. So as I said then, you've got these 4 worlds, and within them you can do missions. Now the missions consist of several things. Now you can do story, which is around about 4 or 5 story missions per planet, so about 20 in total. You can do a strike, which consists of going out and actually killing something pretty big, a boss. You have patrols, and each planet has a patrol, which is a more of an open world. You can go off and do side quests. But the problem is these side quests just consist of just going up to an object. It says, okay, go find 10 of these items. So it may consist of killing the enemies and they'll drop the items, or just find the items anyway. And once you've done 2 or 3, they are the same 2 or 3, very repetitive. Now, yes, in games like Borderlands and stuff like that, side missions are quite repetitive, but some games do it with a bit of humour, some other games do it by making you go across large expanses of the game, so it feels like you're doing something, whereas Destiny kind of goes, right, you've activated this mission here, just go there, just a meter down the road, shoot him, mission accomplished. But this is where you want to actually probably be doing all your grinding, so to grind is quite boring and tedious. And then on top of it you have the Crucible, which is something I did actually enjoy, which is more of a player versus player environment, so you can do team deathmatch, capture the flag and all sorts of things. So that kind of thing is pretty damn cool. I did enjoy that. But let's bring it back to the actual story missions. The biggest gripe for us was the story missions, because once you've done one, you've done them all. They are the same every single time. Right, go to an objective, okay, let's go this way and let's kill a few enemies on the way. When you get there, deploy the ghost, and now a wave of enemies will come. Fight that wave, keep fighting while the ghost does its job, and then jobs are good, and it will automatically say you've completed it, 3, 2, 1, teleports you back into the air, so you don't have time to actually run around and see if there's any loot, if there was loot. It just zaps you up, and then you go to the next place and do it again in a slightly different environment. And at some points the missions make you go over the same area over again. So we did one mission, went through, killed somebody, did the second mission, and we actually thought we activated the first mission again because we had to go through the same path, and then when we got so far we went, oh no, this is where the enemies spawned in on us last time. They didn't do it this time, so obviously it's a different mission, let's go a bit further, and then the same thing happened a bit further down the road. And the other thing that kind of upsets me about this game is it's a MMO apparently, whereas your actual strike teams consist of only 3 people, which is really upsetting. At least as a standard I'd accept 4. I've got so many people I wanted to play Destiny with, but I could only have my girlfriend and my mate, and that was it. That was our team full. And also when you go into like a patrol world, there's 3 running around killing some baddies, and there'll be a couple of other patrols, but it's around about 12 people on the server at a time, so it doesn't feel like these massive populated worlds that they kind of sold it to us. It's just 12 people dotted across the map, maybe a bit more, I could be wrong, but it didn't feel like there was lots of us in there at all. And the worst thing is, you've got like about 16 people at the tower, so this is your hub where you go to actually buy items and pick up bounties and missions. Well, there is about 16 people, I think the number is, running around. Well, back in the days of Dreamcast, PSO used to have a team of 4, so it's already beat Destiny, and those towers had a lot more than 16 people. There was loads of people. There was probably about 50 people jumping up and down, and it was just crazy and it was good fun. So I don't understand how this game, which has got a $500 million budget, has kind of reined it in, and it's such a small game. There's only 3 people, there's only 16 people running around there, whereas back in the day, Dreamcast games was bigger. Now, this is one of the actual biggest gripes for me in the actual game, is your character, you're leveling up. It's called an RPG. Now, I know RPG stands for role-playing games, but I don't think that's a great way to describe RPG, because Battlefield, I'm playing a role-playing game. I'm playing the role as a Marine or a soldier, so RPGs are quite hard to say the word role-playing game, but when we say the word RPG, we always think stats and assignments. So we'll get a load of stats and we'll assign them to our health, or we'll assign them to our hit points, and that's an RPG to me, actually leveling up a character with different stat points. Well, Destiny has none of this. What will happen is you'll go through, you'll kill a bunch of enemies, and it will automatically say that stat's now unlocked, and you don't pick it, it will just say your gun's now a bit stronger, your grenade now does a bit more damage. It picks them for you. You have no choice. You get to click it for some reason. It will say it's unlocked, click it, and you click it and it goes, now it's unlocked. Well, you didn't do anything, you just kind of opened a stat. That's all you do. And for me, for them to be an RPG, I was expecting to go off and grind and get a load of stat points and go, right, do you know what? And instead of going for a full damage character, I'm going to be lots of health, and my friend James, who's going to run in guns blazing, he can be lots of damage up front, and we'll have different kind of characters. I'll be the one that holds back. But it didn't work that way. We just played through, it gave us the stats and said, these are the things that are unlocked, you have no choice in the matter. Now on top of it, obviously leveling up your character, but it doesn't feel like there's a real reason to level it up. When there's a 20 cap already, which I think is incredibly small for a game like this. You want to jump in and play hours and hours and hours, and I did around about 15 hours, and I got to about level 11, so I was already halfway there, so pretty much one more day and I would have hit the cap. The problem is, the only reason you feel like you're doing it is you'll eventually find the odd weapon, and it'll say you're 11, and you can't use this weapon until 12, grind. Which is fair enough, a lot of games do that, but it feels like normally you would also be doing it because you want to build up a load of stats so you can allocate to different parts. And the other thing is they kind of hold it on you saying, if you're not this certain level, you can't do these missions, which I really hated by it, because at one point we was going in and doing the hard missions. So obviously, say hard average is probably about level 14, we was about level 11, so therefore it knew it was going to be hard for us. Granted, fair enough, warners, it's going to be quite hard. I like a hard challenge. So we went in and we did that, and we killed the baddies because we're a bunch of badass gamers. And then at that point I ran off and grabbed something to eat, and my mate continued to just play for an extra half hour, so he leveled up one more than me. Well, he went off to do the next mission, and then when I came back he says, right, I'll just bring you into the strike team, and every time he said, error, you cannot do this mission's too hard for you. So because he had got one level higher and gone to the next level, which may have then gone from hard to very hard, whatever it be, he says, no, you cannot play it now because it's too hard for you. So it feels like the only reason to level up is to unlock these levels, which I think is ludicrous, because when I was playing things like Diablo, you go in and you know if you go and do the towards the end missions and you haven't grinded, you're going to get your ass kicked. But that's the enjoyable part. You go in and you try and be a bit cheeky, can I do it? And you get battered, and you come back and go, okay, and you lick your wounds and you do a bit of grinding and you go off again. Especially on Crackdown, I remember being on there before and we went to take on a base, and it turned around and says, the chances of you succeeding on this is 1%. So we went in and did it, and we won it, and it made us feel really good, because it was like, you only had a 1% chance, and yet we did it. So I want a game to say, yes, this is going to be really, really hard for you to do, but you can give it a go. Whereas Destiny says, no, just level up a bit more. So it feels like there is no reason for leveling. It is just to be able to unlock that weapon and unlock that level. Aside from that, stats and all that shit out the window, it doesn't exist. So moving on then to weapons and loot. Now this is another area where it just fails in my opinion. And the weapons seem to be okay. You get kind of like a sniper rifle, you get a few different bits and bobs, but they kind of all look the same. And I don't feel like there's a massive variation. Now granted, I'm only about 15 hours or so into the game, there could be better stuff, but most games kind of give you a tease of what's to come, or give you a cool weapon but it's very low stats, and then you're trying to work your way up. It didn't feel like that was the case. And on top of it as well, when you play things like Borderlands, and I will compare it with Borderlands, people say, yes, it's a different game. I don't care. If an older game can do it better, then I will compare it. Now the reason for this is in Borderlands, if you found a loot crate, it would open up and show you these glorious guns and you got excited. Whereas on Destiny, Loot is very far and few between, and on top of it, it's just you open a box, it's just a blue glow. You accept it, and then on the side it goes, you got this weapon, and it's just a thumbnail, which is very boring and not very exciting. Now the thing that really did my head in with weapons is you'll get your basic primary weapon, you get a secondary, and you get a special. Now the secondary and special pretty much get next to no ammo, so obviously they want you to use your primary, and if something bad happens, you switch to your special and kind of cane them. So when we was playing the harder levels, I was kind of forced to use a special, which obviously ate through ammo quite a lot. The problem is, ammo's not that easy to find. If you kill enemies, sometimes they drop them, but when you're playing harder ones, it is quite hard. So I would go to the shops and I would buy ammo packs. So I could go out into the wild, shoot people. When I've expended all my bullets, I would then open an ammo pack and consume more bullets. Now the idea of that is okay, but I then had an ammo pack, wasted it onto an enemy, went to have another pack and it went, no, there's a cooldown time of 3 minutes. Now I understand people having special abilities like magic and firing that, it says, okay, you got cooldown time of 30 seconds, you can't use it again, that makes sense in them kind of environments. But to have a cooldown on ammo, you can purchase it, you've got it on you, but you cannot put it in your gun because you've got to wait 30 seconds, well 3 minutes, sorry, it actually said, which I just thought, well, why are you doing that? You're kind of just putting a barrier between me and my weapons and between me and the enemy even, because I can't shoot them because I've now got to sit and wait 3 minutes, which is just pointless. And as I said, the loot is just very far and few between. The weird thing is, the maps are gorgeous, like I said, it plays great and the maps are really, really nice. But what they'll do is every so often there'll be like a bit of a cave, a bit of a side chute, and you'll go down it and there won't be any enemies there, there won't be any loot there, there's nothing there. So you just kind of bump into areas going, well, why did you even program this in? Are you going to put loot in it later? Is this coming soon? I don't quite understand. Whereas on Borderlands, again I will compare it, Borderlands, Christ, you'll go off and you just open a washing machine or just open a toilet seat and there's loot crammed in everywhere and it's great. You're going through, you're comparing weapons, checking stats, doing all these things. Whereas on Destiny, it's quite hard to come across a few weapons that just a few plotted there, and I wanted it to be a great loot fest. And then to top it all off, if your friend does get a really good weapon and then finds an even better one, he might go, well, this weapon's no good to me now, do you want it? No, you can't. You can't even trade in this game. This is an MMO RPG, and they haven't even got a trading system. You can't even drop it for them to pick it up, which makes no sense. But yet Destiny have turned around and says, we're excited about creating a player economy coming soon. So they're going to add these features in later. So I think the biggest problem with this game is the hype train. Now some games obviously get hyped up too much and then they say this is this good and it's kind of about this good, and that's what makes everybody go, well, it wasn't as good as we thought. Now hype trains are incredibly dangerous, but the problem is most times hype trains are powered by us, the actual fans. So for instance, Days, that kind of got a massive hype train. I was going, it's an amazing game, then people jumped on and went, it's not as good as we thought. And fair enough, that's bad on us as gamers as hyping something up. Now the problem with Destiny is they powered their own hype train. They're the one that said it was going to be this massive, gigantic world. It's going to be an MMO, it's going to be an RPG, MMO with 3 players. And they kind of just really bigged it up, and it's not the game that they said it was going to be. It may be down the line, it may be coming soon, but that thing that you just brought for £55, it's not on there yet. Now they've said they've spent $500 million on this game. Now I can see they've really polished it. Like I said, the shooting on it and the way you jump on the sparrows, I think there was, I can't quite remember, it's like a floating quad kind of thing. They play wonderfully, so they've definitely polished and made a really good looking game. But the thing is, I'm worried that majority of this budget went on advertising and telling people how good it's going to be, and these big gigantic billboards in New York Square. Why was that all needed? We was all going to buy it anyway. It feels like they could have spent more time and resource making this rich universe, and also all this stuff that's coming soon could have been put into the game now. You should have spent that time and resources getting the game to the standard that you claimed it already was. So my worry for this is, as I said, it's a very repetitive game. Once you've done a couple of story missions, you've done them all. Grinding is boring and tedious. Go off and find these, just go off and find them, and it just feels quite boring. So I didn't want to grind to get my character higher to then get the extra missions. I kind of fizzled out, and the worst thing is this is a new game, and it's not very often I get a new game and actually just sit there and go, you know what, I'd rather play something else that I already own. And Destiny made me do it. After about 6 hours I was like, I'm just going to jump on Battlefield for a bit, I'm just going to play a bit of Minecraft, because I got bored. Now the worrying thing is they did turn around to us and say this is going to be a game that's going to be supported for up to 10 years. And there's going to be loads of universes added, this is going to be all these worlds and content and missions. Well, I would kind of hold on. I would keep the game and say, okay, these missions may be coming, this world that I want may be created. The problem is, I was going, is it going to be free DLC or is it going to be quite cheap DLC? What's it going to be? I don't know how they're going to work it. Well, they've already got Season Pass out for £35, which is a very expensive Season Pass, which implies all the content's going to be obviously charged for and probably quite expensive if they're already charging £35 for a Season Pass. Now, I'm worried that if I kept this game, that I'm going to have to wait a long time for these updates to come out, and even if they do, I'm going to have to probably pay for certain things. And I think Activision have probably seen this game as a cash cow, and it might be one that gets milked dry. Now, I could be wrong on that, but £35 already for a Season Pass is boring. So to sum up, this game looks brilliant. It plays well, it really does. As a shooter, it's a very good shooter, but they should have just said this is a co-op shooter instead of an MMORPG, which it really isn't. The problem is the grinding is boring and tedious. The missions are boring and repetitive. This game is set out to be a jack of all trades, but it is the master of none. And the problem is, after 2 days, it really does feel like I've actually tasted everything of this universe, and it's all very samey. Now the Crucible's cool, like I said. I like the idea is you can play all these missions, go off, or if not, jump into a deathmatch and have a fight. But my problem is, I've got Titanfall, I've got Battlefield, Halo's around the corner, so I'm not going to keep this game to just have it as a player versus player when I've got plenty of other and better player versus player games. So for me, I've just, like I said, I played it, it was okay, it got boring, I then become bored and had to put it down, and that's exactly why I've sold this game. So if you're on the fence about getting this game, I'd say wait, because the problem is now, there really is some mixed reviews. Some people love it, and if you love this game, great. I really am glad for you, because I'm not going to sit there and bash it and say it's a terrible game, no one should buy it. If you play it and you enjoy it, that's good, that's great, play away. But if you're on the fence, there is a lot of people who are not happy with this game, and there is loads of people sticking on eBay at the moment. I had to drop my copy down to £32 just to sell it on eBay, and that was within its first day. Game already offering only £15 trade-in, which is ludicrous, so don't go to Game. But the point is, people are selling them in masses, so I think this price of this game is going to plummet quite quickly. So if you're on the fence and you do want to give it a go, because like I'm one of these people, if somebody says something's bad, I don't really care if you think it's bad, I want to try it for myself. So if you want to try it for yourself, just wait a week or two, because you'll probably see a price drop. So all in all then, like I said, it plays well, it looks well, but it's just, there isn't not enough in there. I wanted to trade, I wanted to grind, I wanted to do lots of stat building, which you can do none of it, and it just made me go, meh. This game has shown me everything it's got to offer, and that is very little. So that's me done and dusted. I know it's a big old rant, but like I said, I'm kind of shocked at this game because it's Bungie, and it's got a lot of money, and I expected very big things for it, and it just didn't deliver. Well, not yet. It may be coming soon, and potentially with a price tag. So thank you very much for watching, guys, and I hope you do enjoy it. And like I said, if you are one of these people that's playing it, awesome, enjoy it. So cheers guys, thank you, bye. I don't know why I always throw my arms up at the end of the video, but huzzah!